Can you tell me about the process of figuring out, okay, I'm going to write a book about a cemetery?
So I had already done most of the research just because that's what I do is I research cemeteries. And I had been in this one helping with some restoration and cleaning work and stuff. But I always heard that if you can't find the book that you want, write it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. I looked everywhere because it's the Broadway Cemetery District. It has so much history in one place and so many generations. There had to be a book, but I looked everywhere and couldn't find one. So just on a brave day, I guess, I wrote to a publisher and thought, okay, well, when they kick back this proposal, then I'll know, okay, don't do that again. And they called me on the phone when they received it and they said, yes, how fast can you have it to us?
Oh my gosh.
So that was exciting. I was like, oh, then I have to do it.
Yeah, that is fascinating. I mean, Ed Cottam said the same thing. He went and looked for a book on the Civil War in Galveston.
He's so
and
good.
There wasn't one. And I mean, that's your story exactly. It's like, well, I love this. Why can't I find it? I need to write it. Okay, I'm doing the research
Ready,
anyway,
go.
so I'll put it together. Let's talk about the Hotel Galvez.
That was the most recent release. That one was really fun. That was one that the publisher actually asked me to write.
Oh.
So I was already fascinated with it anyway. So when they asked me if I would, I jumped at the chance. Mm-hmm. I was also under the impression that because it was the Hotel Galvez, there would just be a plethora of information in the archives and in these private collections, and there wasn't. I found out really quickly that because it's had so many owners through the years, and a lot of them didn't really care about the history, a lot of the original things have been discarded. They're just nowhere to be found. So it was a dig. Mm-hmm. That was an archaeological dig to find the things. Once I got rolling, it was good and figured out how I was going to put it together.
Where did you find most of the information for the Galvez?
Private collections.
How do you do that? So do you have to put out like the bat signal and say, hey, I'm looking for this?
Kind of.
Like, do you have any info on this? Do you know who to target?
Well, you start with Galveston, the people you know in Galveston,
yeah.
And you start spreading the word. I'm looking for this, and if your family has any connection to it, whatever. And then once the word kind of got out a little bit, I was contacted by family members of former managers of the Galvez from like when I was little and stuff. So it was fun. And in traveling and doing shows and book signings and stuff, people would approach me and say, I have something I want to show you about the Galvez. And it's like, yes. Sit down right now this minute.
That's
so
awesome.
A lot of it was just kind of backdoor information. There was a period where the Galvez was the White House of the nation because FDR was down here for 10 days. It's kind of like Camp David. Anytime the president goes somewhere for that length of time, the White House kind of follows him.
Oh,
and
wow.
they took over the 6th floor was the secretarial bay, and they had extra phone lines and telegraph lines. They had the mail planes coming in every day into Shoals Air Force Field. It was quite the undertaking and the big sweep of what became the Secret Service before that, which was fascinating. So the first place I contacted was the FDR's presidential library. They found one scribbled phone message, and they said, we have no record of that ever happening. And I was so distraught because I thought if anybody would have it, they would have. So that took a while. But then once I started hitting the mother lode, you just start going down rabbit holes, praying you're going to find things. And sometimes you find really juicy little tidbits.
Of course.
I found a lot of fun things that I can't wait to share in the book. I'm a big buff of the Wild West. I have been since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I had always heard that Buffalo Bill had stayed in the second Tremont, the one that you see a lot of the old pictures of. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I have to prove or disprove that. I just have to know. And they were there. The whole Wild West show was there.
Oh,
it was
wow.
just incredible. So I can't wait to share some photos and things.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just, I was so excited.
Are those actually accessible, or do you have to find access to these photos, or will they be
They'll be in the book.
Awesome.
But yeah.
So it'll be like a first look to actually see these photos.
Yeah, some of the things that are in there.
Yeah. That's so cool.
It's really fun.
A few things that fascinate me are photos that it's the first time they're actually available to the public when you actually put them out in books. And a lot of times these books, it's like, unless you know to go buy this book, you're not going to actually find that
Right.
photo, or unless you know exactly what you're looking for. But also another thing is, whenever someone finds a collection in their attic, their great grandfather's collection, and they open it up and they're like, oh, maybe we should get these digitized, and they give them to somebody to digitize them, and then next thing you know, they show up on the portal to Texas history or
Exactly.
the Rosenberg Library, and you're like, wait, I've been sifting through these files for years, and all of a sudden this
And
is
they're
in
right there.
and they're right
Yeah.
there. So
And it happens every time. When the Galvez book came out, something like presented itself and it was like, it's already at the publisher.
Yeah.
Dang it.